I would like to ask, with all your, you have two lineages. One is the political lineage, which comes from, whatever background you come from. You have a lineage of being in the corporate sector and, managing complex activities there. Are there any skill sets that can be used, particularly given the deficiencies you talked about? Obviously, there are a whole lot of skill sets that can come from the corporate world, which can be used in the political arena. But you've talked about lack of data, lack of support systems, lack of a larger ecosystem. So, how are you managing? And obviously, having been in the opposition for 5 years must have helped you to get to know the system much better. But in general, how is it that you can take, even as an independent minister, how can you take much more informed decisions using your skill sets that you acquired from outside of the government?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure I fully understand the question, but let me address a couple of points. I would say that if I did not have my legacy, the fact that I was educated or competent or a former XYZ in ABC company had zero reflection on my ability to get elected. That's basically the reality of the world. So the first time I got elected, it made no difference whether I was from MIT or not educated at all. They elected me based on my legacy. If you ask me now, I would say now people say that the real value they see in me is that I actually know my job and I know what I'm talking about, and that's so refreshing for them. But in my mind, the greater asset than all of this, the greater asset than any knowledge, any skill, any education is compassion. And if you have the compassion for the people, if you have empathy, if you are able to put yourself in their shoes, if you're able to understand, and human nature is not all glory and purity, right? Some of it is base human nature, but you have to see past that, and you say, on average, what is the right thing? On average, what are the kind of genuine expectations? What is morally the right thing to do? What is societally the fair thing to do? If you have that approach to life, I think that actually carries you a long way at the political level, at the people interaction level, at the election level. Then, of course, the question is, how do you administer effectively? Now, there have been brilliant administrators who have never gone to school, but they know how to use the right people in the right way. And I think the single common variable of those who have not had the technical skill or the education or the experience themselves is to have an open mind. Once you have the right values, the right connectivity of the people, the right empathy, the right passion, therefore the right kind of aura around you that you can get elected and you can win enough seats to make a government, then all you need is open-mindedness. You get the 10 best or 20 best people in every field, in every department, and everything. And over time, you develop the skill. I think the classic example of that was our former chief minister, party leader, Thalaivar Kalaignar, right? He had very little formal education. And in the first government that they formed after Perariya Ranna passed away, the opposition told them, he said, you guys are running a third-rate government. You're not fit to administer. Of course, he had the wit to come back and say, no, you don't mean third rate, you mean fourth rate, because according to the kind of caste system, we are from the fourth level caste. So he was able to twist it. But the truth was they were not that good at it because they didn't quite understand. But you do it long enough and then you realize. So by the time, when I met him, when he was really well advanced, on any topic, he would ask 5, 10, 15, 20 people opinions. He would never reveal in his face whether he actually was with you or against you, whether he had formed an opinion that was counter. He wore these glasses so you couldn't tell what he was doing. And he would take all of it in and then he'd just process it around and then he'd come out with a decision. And that is enough. You don't have to do much more than that. People are born with natural IQ, whether they go to good schools or not. So if you have the right IQ and you have the right empathy and the right connectivity with the people, then keeping an open mind and being able to take input is enough. It's only when you start believing that you are all-knowing, all-seeing. This happens in all departments. It happens in all institutions. It happens on Wall Street. It happens in hedge funds. It happened at Lehman Brothers to some extent. It happens everywhere that you get too successful too fast and you start believing your own smoke. You start believing that somehow you can divine the future or that you're infallible and your thoughts are worth so much. And you make decisions without taking enough input. I mean, I don't want to go into examples because it will be accusing, people accuse me of politics, but we don't have to look too far back. We look back the past 5-7 years, and you can see lots of decisions that were taken without enough input that led to really disastrous outcomes. So I of course, it helps a lot to be qualified, competent, experienced in a particular field. I think I'd make a better finance minister than I would, let's say, a health minister. I've never been a medical doctor. I don't understand what goes into it. But I think far more than that is the kind of ability to have empathy, connectivity, compassion, and an open mind and take input.